So what's a Dogbone? Well, a Dogbone is a tensioning device for guidelines, and in our case specifically for shelters, wall tents, baker tents, anything like that we need to tension our guidelines off that shelter. So why would we use this and not use what we talked about in our last video, taunt line hitch? Well, a taunt line hitch worked well. I have it on several of my shelters here on my school property, but a Dogbone actually works a little bit better. When we think about the use of a Dogbone, we need to think about the elements that we're operating in. So of course, if we have a more permanent type shelter like a wall tent or a baker tent that we're leaving up all 4 seasons, we're probably using it in the worst of weather. So when we think about that taunt line hitch, here in the Northeast we get rain and snow, and there's sometimes a mixture of both, and then our lines ice up. So we might have snow on our shelter, so we might have to, in the middle of the night, adjust that knot. So with that ice building up on our line, sometimes that knot is difficult to move. Also, if we have a lot of rain and we're using natural cordage, a taunt line hitch can actually tighten up a little bit, and it takes a little bit of work to get that to move. Where a Dogbone, if it's set up correctly, has a lot more meat to it. So we can grab it, crack the ice, move it real quickly, re-tighten up our shelter the way it should be, and move on with what we're doing. So it makes life a lot easier. Now, it is another item that you're gonna have to carry into the woods possibly, but if we're already taking in larger tent pegs, we're taking in possibly some lumber, a heavy-duty tent, throwing a few of these in is not gonna be a problem whatsoever. And if you carry a drill bit, you can always make these in the woods. Now these 2 Dogbones, this one is made just of a 2x4 with some holes drilled, and this is made of a dowel rod with some holes drilled. So it's not anything that you have to go out and purchase. You just buy some lumber, drill some holes, and you're good for the most part. So I want to show you how these tensioning devices work. They're simple and easy to use. So let's get it repositioned. We'll talk about how quick this tensioning device works. The setup for these Dogbones is super simple. So I'm just going to take my Dogbone. I have this guideline tied off to a section of my wall tent. And all that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end, feed it right through one hole of this Dogbone. And then I'm going to feed it all the way through just like that. And I'm going to take this end then, and I'm going to loop it around my tent peg. So this is still free flowing. I'm going to take the second hole, and I'm going to place my cordage or my guideline through that hole, and then tie a knot on this line. Now I'm not too concerned what kind of knot this is. I just want it big enough so it doesn't slide through the Dogbone hole. And that's where, if you're making these Dogbones to a specific setup, then what you can do is drill out your holes to match your line. And then all that you're doing at this point is you would pull down. This is the line here that I'm pulling on. It's attached to my shelter. I'm tensioning up this way, and the device itself, you can see, then torqued, and now what do we have? A tensioning device to hold this in place. So as our shelter starts to loosen up possibly, what do we want to do? We can just pull this tighter, pull that Dogbone up, and it'll just keep it set in place. It's very easy. And if you think about this and just look at it, you can see the meat to this. So if this was all iced up, this line, you can grab this, and it's not gonna be that iced up. We can crack that ice, move this thing around, tighten this up, loosen it up as we need to, and it works really, really well. So again, these are very valuable for more sustainable type shelters that you're gonna take out into the wilderness with you. And if you don't wanna carry these Dogbones with you, you can cut a green tree. If you have a drill bit, drill them out, and you have them right in the field. It's a very easy thing to make. That's how we use a Dogbone. It's a very simple device. It's a tensioning device, and I really recommend it. If you're going to set up a more permanent shelter, use these. Don't go with the taunt line hitch. Although the taunt line hitch isn't going to be a bad option, these are just a little bit more robust and easily used when out in the field to make your life a little bit easier when you're out there camping. You can focus on your other projects that you're doing. So this was Dan Womack with Coalcracker Bushcraft. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. Have fun and stay in the woods, guys.